wrapping cord around his neck, putting his hand in the old vice. Is that strangling with cord? Someone had the heat gun going next to his head. I put a screwdriver up his nose. I said, "Get your fucking hands on the table. Get your fucking hands on the table." I'm putting the screwdriver up his nose. But I'm just thinking, I've got a job to do, right? My gym got set on fire. It could be at my house next. You're with him, right? You put yourself in that camp, and that's what happens when you go to war, right? So you think you're a big man because you're moving 100 kilos, and some special forces cunt wants to fucking cut your fingers off to find out where that is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he was happy to fucking, and there's loads of it, right? So whether you're at the bottom, if you're a guy who's got two in a queue, you'll have some fucking cracker kick your door and kick your head to pieces in front of your kids for that two in a queue. If you've got 100 kilos sat somewhere, you'll have someone stick an iron in your chest and melt through it, and they'll kill you. I was literally going to kill someone or get killed, 100%. You know, I was fucking, you know, I was definitely going into psychosis. There were so many people owed me money. All that violence I'd done as a kid, right, which was a ridiculous amount by anyone in our area, like off the fucking Richter scale. You know, fucking walking into clubs with fucking swords and fucking bats and all sorts of crazy shit. I thought the answer to everything was just fucking force. You know what I mean? Fucking, like I said, if you ask me how many people I kidnapped, to the nearest 20, I ain't got a Scooby-Doo.
Who was Danny Harkins growing up?
Oh, he was a very, very shy boy, I think. I had quite a confident, aggressive, violent, well, I had a dad who had quite a name for himself as like the Chelsea leader of that time. Well, he had been, just before, well.
With a football?
Yeah, he had been, yeah. And then like, but he'd also done very well for himself financially, so you had this kind of like guy who was climbing the, well, I wouldn't say the social ladder, not that, but climbing up in life from the bottom. You know, he had a very violent, rough upbringing, very violent dads, alcoholic dads from Glasgow, from the Gorbals. His mum and dad from the Gorbals, which is like the roughest estate in Europe back then. And working like a dog, like, you know, from the age of 12, you know, he'd had a paper round or 3 paper rounds, whatever it was, you know, and then at 15 he had an apprenticeship and as an electrician, before you know it, he's fucking buying his own properties. He's, you know, just working, grafting, and along the way, obviously he's the leader of the Chelsea thing. So, you know, he's rough. He's obviously had leadership qualities and aggressive and confident, very aloof. And then my mum, she got pregnant and, you know, ended up getting married because of me. So she was very, very reserved, well, I don't know if that's the right word, insular. Although she was from a Brixton council estate originally, Greek parents, so very, you know, they don't speak very good English, so very isolated amongst themselves, very polite, very well mannered, and my dad would be in the far end of the spectrum. But that's not to say that he didn't know how. You put him amongst a load of rich people, he would know how to mind his P's and Q's. But at home you've got the two, you've got the very quiet girl from Greek parents, was very, like, you know, shy, not that confident, and then you got this guy who had been very, very confident, very worldly, travelled the world, making money, doing very well for himself. Obviously, if you're the leader of the Chelsea thugs, whatever you want to call them, a lot of confidence. You're going to get a lot of confidence from that.
Yeah.
And you know, if you come from nothing in life, from the bottom, and you all of a sudden you do very well through your own graft and you make money, and also you're doing the Chelsea thing, so you get a name for yourself. Those two elements combined would give you a big head. They would. It might not be like, you might be a nice person, someone give it to you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the truth. And I've been there because when I started doing all the naughty stuff, and I went from, you know, driving brand new flagship BMWs and Ranges, I got a big head. So I can relate to it. I was late enough, I was about 30 whilst I started making a lot of money. But what I'm saying is, you know, he's already very aloof. I read one of the books they did about him, and they described him as being aloof. And I looked it up, and it's kind of like a good way to say what aloof is if you're looking at a newspaper and someone's talking to you, you kind of look up and barely like, you can't be bothered to acknowledge them, and that is him. So you've got these two characters. One's like a disciplinarian. You know, he'd done the TA and very patriotic, and he'd be up at silly o'clock in the morning running and thing. And then my mum was the opposite. All love, cuddles, buy you what you want. Where the old man would be getting you, making sure you watch your black and white TV. You know, every bike or TV we ever had in the house was second hand. Emo was a millionaire.
Was he stingy?
Mate, every TV we had and every push bike we had was second hand.
So how old were you when violence first started coming into your life, when you become a part of it?
Oh right, well my dad would like, you know, be quite trigger happy with the old belt or open hands, occasionally knuckles, you know. I don't want to go too much into that, but like, he was a disciplinarian of the old school. So, you know, I've seen him try pulling people out of car windows. I've seen him try throwing people off scaffolding, and you know. So,
and do you think?
And he would rant and rave at my mum. So very aggressive, you know, in her face, spitting, and her just not having much to say about it. So, you know, monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So you see some of yourself in your dad, or your dad in yourself.
Well, you see whatever your surroundings are.
Yeah.
You know, especially when you're young. Those are your formative years.
Yeah.
So you'll take some elements from your mum, and you'll take some elements from your dad, and who your friends are, teachers are. Those are your formative years. They help form you.
And did your dad take you out of school at a young age to start work?
No, my dad meant well. He might have been a rough, tough fucker with some funny ideas, but he certainly meant well, I think. You know, like, obviously he come from nothing, started making money. He put me in private school, but I mean, I got kicked out of every school I ever went to, every school, because I was always fighting. So whilst he meant well, and he did mean well, put me in good schools, and my mum would, I was very dyslexic, ADHD. He'd pay all the money for private schools, but at home we've got black and white TVs, and not all black and white TVs, but second-hand TVs and second-hand push bikes, you know, and like, he'd check to see how much he'd filled up the bath. When the curtains had to be closed at night to save and heating, even though, you know, he'd always have old second-hand cars, which you keep for years. You'd see the austerity. I always think where he was so poor, his parents were so poor, and his dad wasn't good with money, I think he was very fucking scared of losing it, or, you know, I suppose he'd seen what poverty looked like, so I'll give him some mitigation for that. And I'm sure his dad fucked his head up. Dad was very violent, his mum was much the same. His mum was very loving and, you know, couldn't do enough for him and favoritised him. So I think you've got two parents having a tug of war. One's like letting you have whatever you want, sweets, toys, cakes, spoiling you with love, and the other's giving you a backhanders and the belt and shouting at you. You know, they should be pulling in the same direction. Do you know what I mean? Although it probably bounces, like, you know.
And when did crime...
You ask me about my old man or my mum one day, and I'll come up with completely different answers depending on what mood I'm in and how I'm processing what happened.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Today I'm feeling quite rational, merciful. You know, there's definitely mitigation. But you know, say I got in a fight at school, you know, my old man would be like, you know, I remember once later he moved back to London, right? We moved up to Southampton, he moved back to London, and my mum, I got beat up at school, I was about 13 or something, and so she got on the phone to my dad, he got on the phone, can you beat him, son? I said, no dad, he's a boxer. Right, here's what you do, I want you to fucking get his friendship, get his trust, and then one day you'll go into his classroom and smash him straight off his fucking desk, off his chair, push the desk over on top of him and stamp on his fucking head. His boxing skills will be worth nothing.
He told you that?
100%, yeah. My old man just dragged me up with a state when I was naughty, so, who wants to fight my son? You know, rough estates in London,
Yeah.
like the old tower blocks. You've got a few, every now and then you'd be a murder, you know, the old chalk line bodies where someone had been stabbed in the park. Who wants to fight my son? He thinks he's fucking hard, you know. And
Was he drunk as well
no,
when he got?
my old man didn't drink.
Oh,
I
really?
said whatever he did out of, I don't know if it was love or just what he felt was duty. You know, I know I've done some wrong things with my son, trying to make him tough. You know, thinking like with the legacy I left him, well, you're gonna have to be pretty tough. But I never hit my son. I pushed him once, and I felt bad enough about it. He didn't talk to me after that. I thought if what had happened to me happened to you, and you're really that upset that I pushed you, you know, we had a huge row. He's almost clenching his fist, and I've kind of pushed him away. I shouldn't have done it, but he didn't talk to me for ages. I think I've had fucking belt closed fist fucking from yay high, you know. And you're at an age when if you clocked me one, I'd fucking know about it. Because my boy, at 18 years of age, right, is deadlifting 255 kilo, right? And
That's insane.
And that's 3.4 times body weight because he's a boxer, and I see him getting down to about 74 kilos. So you know, 3.4 times body weight. That's not an accident. That's partly genetics, right? His mum was strong. I'm pretty strong, but you know, even when I was in jail, right, I'm looking up on the old phone behind the thing, right, what good strength conditioning coaches are around the area. So I know I wanted him doing like Olympic lifting. So I knew he was in a box one day, so I wanted him doing Olympic lifting as young as possible. From 11, even when we were in jail, his mum would drive him up about half hour, 40-minute drive to a very good strength conditioning coach. It was a CrossFit box, but I'd looked ever online, and they had a coach there who had all the right certificates and credentials, and he trained him for a few years. And then when I come out, I've got him better strength conditioning coaches. You know, always got him the best. And he's had some very, very good, very, very, very good boxing coaches. My pal Henry Castle was an ABA champion. He had about 25 pro fights for Warren, and was an exceptionally skilled boxer. But if anything, he's an even better coach. He was holding up the shield that he held up the other day. His shoulders went black through the punches that Ellis was throwing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So unbelievable power. I said, I've never hit my son. So, but I can still make it. I can still make
a good relationship.
Well, I don't know about. I said just that one time I pushed him, he went nuts, and me and his mum don't get on. I weren't the best husband. I won't lie. I was for a long time until I wasn't.
So when did crime first enter your life?
Well, other than being a dick and the odd bit of shoplifting as a kid, 14 I started. I'd done a bit of boxing. I said I'd been very sharp to that point. I'd been bullied as a kid, shy, you know, because my mum would, bless her, just not have a clue about fashion. My dad should have done, because he was a bit of a legend in the terraces, and they used to talk about how he would set the trends, like what he used to wear. Yeah. I'd be wearing like the most shitty fucking shoes. I'd be wearing fucking trousers that are rolling up my fucking legs, the cheapest, shittest jackets, nothing fashionable at all. A fucking haircut that looked like it was out of a fucking 1700s movie. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, are you trying to get your boy picked on? Do you know what I mean? And so I went out of the box, it was like, right, vengeance is mine. Do you know what I mean? So as soon as I went in the box, I was whacking people out left, right and centre. You know what I mean? And I got a bit, and then all of a sudden, everyone's up your ass. You know, all the girls were a lot more friendly, because more lads are trying around with you for whatever reason, because they think it's, I don't know. So you think, oh, this is good, I like this, I like the attention. So a bit of validation, I'm good at saying. So I went a bit crazy with that. You know, I was knocking people out, and at 14 I was knocking men out on the way home from the pub. You know, I was an arsehole really, but it was kind of inevitable with the way I'd grown up, you know. And my old man, his favourite line was, what are you, a man or a mouse?
Yeah.
He had the football violence and I had my own violence. And do you know what? Boxing's a very different sport to football.
Yeah.
You know? It teaches you individuality. You're your own man.
Yes.
Completely. You know, and you know, as you know,
fake injuries and all that.
Well, what I mean is, like, if you play football for a team, you share the win, you share the loss. You know, so if you lose, it ain't on you. When a boxer loses a fight, right, he feels shame. And the funny thing enough is, everyone who knows projects that to, oh, well, he's not that good. People are horrible, right?
Yeah.
Look at Ricky Hatton, right? Great boxer, lovely, lovely man, right?
Yeah.
Fuck me, didn't the British public turn on him? Right, oh, he's doing cocaine.
Yeah.
We don't like you anymore for a minute. Well, that must have, you know what I mean? And then like, or when he got beat, you know, with Frank Bruno, it really dropped him out, you know? And we loved Frank Bruno. And saw him on a few things. It was obviously suffering with his mental health, which people didn't talk about as much back then as they do now. The public just turned on him, you know? And when you lose a fight in boxing, because they will manufacture these very good records with easy fights until it's time for them big paydays and title fights, and then you've really got to put it online. So it's almost like, yeah, that's how he's done, he's no good no more. In MMA, you notice people take a loss, and it's not the end of their career. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For whatever reason, that is because, oh, well, there's a lot of ways to lose in MMA, it could be this way, that way, but in boxing, when one of the great fighters or champion has a couple of losses, he's pretty much written off. And obviously they manufacture these perfect records with easy fights until they can't. But with MMA, everyone fights everyone, and you see a lot of wins, a lot of losses, you see a lot of mixed records, and people can stay around at a high level for a long time. But I think for boxing, it can be very, it can take a great toll on people's mental health. How we got onto that one.
So how did your reputation grow then?
Well, I said I was literally at the age of 14 once I started boxing. By the age of 15 I was rampant. I was going down nightclubs, I was walking into clubs with fucking meat cleavers, fucking hammers, fucking koshes. You know, I used to break the Mercedes badge off a Mercedes and turn it out into a duster, like whacking people around the edge of it. It was off care. I'd fight all the doormen. Back then, you know, doormen didn't have to have licenses. They'd employ the people who could have half an hour all roided up. And I'd see everything as like a challenge.
So what did your dad say about it?
And the more people that were outside the clubs back then, you know, people now kids might not relate to it. Back then, as you know, you'd have nightclubs with 2,000 people in them. Or even a local club up our little town did too. Both would have housed, one held about 1,000 people, one that would have held about 500, you know, and clubs like that don't really exist anymore, do they? They're everywhere. And, you know, you walk around the town, and we got two streets run parallel with loads of shops down each, and they had so many pubs down each street. You go out by yourself. Within 5 minutes, you'd be walking around the block. You'd be with 20 of your mates, you know. And you couldn't do that now, could you? So, I guess perhaps when my old man had his name, perhaps I wanted to make one for myself, or perhaps I liked the validation I was getting, and like the people who were supposed to be the hard men in the town, everyone knew where they were, and you know, it was so sad, they'd rank them. Oh, he's this, he's probably about third. So I thought, you know, I'll knock out all these cunts.
Yeah. What did your dad say? Because surely you must have heard about this story.
Going fucking, obviously it started off with him advising, you know, as he did, but he didn't like it, obviously. I remember one time, you know, it was my sister's 40th birthday party. I was only about 16 or something, was I 17? And two older guys, about 27, come around and started touching up the birds. One of the girls told me, was my older pals, and come out and fucked me, I bit his thumb off, a bit of his ear off, I fucking stamped on him, knocked his mate out, you know. Next thing we're hiding in the bushes, and the police are driving all around the field with the fucking spotlights out. Another time, I hadn't spoken to my dad for a few years, and the girlfriend I was with set up a surprise birthday, and along the way I've ended up in a fight. Some geezer who's just got out of jail, armed robbery. I've wound up chewing his ear off. The two of them have attacked me. I've wound up biting his ear off. Get this right. I've kicked his head through the curb, took some of his teeth home with me, just battered the both of them. So I've got down next to my family in 2 years and got little cuts on me from this fight I've had. And my mum's asked me, what's happened, son? And I said, I've been sparring mum. And my dad said, what really happened? When she weren't listening. Very more night spoke to him for 2 or 3 years. And I said, I just bit the cunt's ear off and here's his teeth, took his teeth out of my pocket. And he went, fuck's sake, son. Why did you bite him? Why couldn't you just knock him out? Fucking, they know you do that. Do you know what I mean? I said, I didn't mean to, it was fucking instinct. You know?
Were there any of the guys you looked up to back in the day, like Lenny McLean and them?
Yeah, I read Lenny McLean's book when I was 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was the first, it wasn't the first book I ever read, but it's the first time I went out and bought myself a book. Yeah. And then I read Roy Shaw's book straight afterward, Pretty Boy. So I idolised them and that old school thinking of straighteners and and all of it, you know. Two very different characters.
Yeah.
Lenny McLean was a fair knuckles guy.
Yes.
Roy was I'll beat you with my hands, I'll hit you with a bat, whatever. Like.
Which one would you did you prefer?
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah, both.
Both equally. So why did you open a gym?
It was already there, and it's just an opportunity. It came up at the right price. It's a really good bodybuilding gym. It had more powerlifters than bodybuilders, you know, and it was right next to where I lived. And I knew it'd be a good business for networking, opening doors. Obviously, I was doing my boxing coaching, so it's great for getting clients for that and whatnot. I was doing a bit of coaching at the Golden Ring at the time as well. I love that gym. I was banging some weights back then. Yeah, it just come on, a lot of people going for it. And but yeah, it was a great gym. Opened a lot of doors.
Did you took it off somebody, or did you just?
Well, they were saying it anyway. They didn't particularly want to sell it to me. I didn't really want them to sell it to someone else, but we ended up getting someone else to buy it.
Right.
Because she wouldn't sell it to me in the end, and then it bounced back to me. So I got it in anyway.
Yeah. And then back in those times, did you? Yeah.
There was a cop who wanted to buy it as well, and
all right. And then he found out you got it.
I had some copper sharp at the door, trying to put me off. I'll tell you what, I'll phone Ross Lister. I phoned him on his mobile, bang. Oh, well, that's right. I won't go into it, but yeah, got laughing, yeah. All's well that ends well.
So how did you make your money then?
Well, I was always a grafter. From 16 I left school. I got kicked out of every school I went to. 16 I was working in factories, literally working night and day. I was working up to 12 hours, well, every shift. 12-hour nights, from 7 at night till 7 in the morning. And I was boxing, which is very hard. And I didn't box well back then, because I was so fucking tired. You know, and I bought my first house when I was 20, me and the missus that I was with then, and saved every fucking penny, didn't spend nothing, you know. My idea of a treat would be a rental video, VHS back then, on a Friday night with some M&Ms, a bag of Kettle Crisps, and a sweet and sour, low fat sweet and sour dip, you know what I mean? And
yeah, nice.
Even like, the sandwiches I took to work were fucking horrible. Everything was cheap, you know what I mean? And so yeah, working fucking sometimes just one shift after the other, right way through the week. You could do 3 weeks in a row without any fucking breaks. I'll take on.
Is this when you had the gym as well?
No, this is before. This is
right.
when I was about 18. And leading up to that point, I was doing every shift I could, every day I could, in factories. And then I got this job in a bakery, because I didn't do nothing at school. I got kicked out of every school I ever went to. And I must have taken like 14 convictions for violence by the time I was 18. So I was just a little idiot really, but I did work hard. And like I said, I fell out with my dad, so I didn't really have a lot of guidance around me at 15, because me and my dad couldn't talk. We would just fight, and at that point we would just fight.
And did you get involved in like debt collecting and stuff, and at what age was that?
Not really.
Right.
I didn't like it as a concept. I had some funny ideas in my head. We all have our own values, we all have our own idea of integrity. For me, integrity means you have your values, and it's how closely you stick to those values. That's my idea of integrity. And so when I was younger, I believed, for whatever reason, you know, that a lot of debt collecting was against vulnerable people, you know.
Right.
Funnily enough, I remember reading Dave Courtney's book when I was a kid, and I ended up being good mates with him later in life. But reading the book, I didn't particularly like some aspects of it, like the debt collecting, because it was on. But at least it was honest about. Looking back now, he wrote quite, you know, well, knowing what I know, you know, he was full of shit half the time. But yeah, it all seemed like debt collecting to me was often preying on the vulnerable. As I got older, things changed. I moved into. I never wanted to get involved with drugs. I sold drugs when I was younger, when I was very young, speed and stuff. But I never really wanted to sell Class A's and things like that. And then later on in life, some opportunities come my way. And I got involved in that world. And but even then, I never collected debts that weren't mine. But if I gave somebody something, that changed it. I would say, if you work for me and someone owes you money, we will help you get your money back if they bump you. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So that would be part of a sales pitch, I suppose.
Yeah.
You know, come work with me and you won't get no drama.
Okay.
I had a nice little team around me, so at that point, and they would have been collecting money for me 6 days a week. 6 days a week they'd be out collecting my money. Three guys, 3 debt collectors. And
money people personally owed you?
Yeah. Me and my friends, put it that way, without going into detail. But
and did you sell out of the gym maybe steroids and things like that for extra cash?
oh, no comment. I know people who put it this way, once they get a gym, if they're busy with lots of other things, they might say to somebody in the gym, "You're the only person I'm going to let sell steroids in this gym. I'm not going to let anyone else do it, but you can get your steroids off me or kick back." Funnily enough, I had a lad who he told me he got nicked and all the roids went missing. And his missus told me the truth, what really happened, which is different when they fell out. And because he was a bit of a bully boy, massive roid freak. And funny story with this guy. He'd made up all it, like, massive guy, absolutely humongous bodybuilder. He made up like a load of bullshit, like that he was doing all this debt collecting, that he was working, that he was putting a lot of price work overseas for someone who I won't name. And it turned out all to be fabricated. There was another multi-millionaire in the area who was quite powerful, or the son of someone quite powerful, and he'd made out that the guy had lent him 30 grand, and then one day he tried to make out the guy had said, "Don't worry about paying me back." He said, "Well, I wasn't going to fucking pay you back anyway." He's telling me the story, I'm thinking, I'm like, this isn't a very nice story, you're not a very nice person. You know what I mean? If you borrow money off people, paying back, someone's done you a favour, but it turned out the whole thing was made up. He didn't even know the guy. He might have met him or something. That was it. Let alone work for him. Let alone work for the dads. The whole thing was just fucking made up. Everything. All the price work. He'd made up so many stories, this guy. Like, he made out like, I remember like, he'd made out like he was driving Range Rovers off of docks and putting them off one container onto another container, getting paid this a night, crazy sums. All bullshit. Every bit of it. And you're just like, why would someone lie like that? And I'm thinking this guy is a dangerous guy. You know, fucking like, he owes me a few quid. And I think, well, you know, he's putting in price work overseas. Meaning if someone needs their head smashed in or whatever overseas, he'll go do it for these very wealthy people. All bullshit. All bullshit. And what I think had happened, he was probably like just a regular kid or a kid who was bullied, and he got so obsessed with bodybuilding, got larger than life, huge, absolutely ridiculous, looked like the fucking Hulk. I think he had to develop a persona to go with it. So he fabricated all this bullshit. And we're in a situation where there was a few of them, these big fucking massive bodybuilders, and one of them had, so this guy had, one of the other ones had robbed some steroids off somebody else. I'll try and get the story right because it's a long time ago. The other guy, he ended up telling me that the other guy said, fuck me, I ain't paying him back anyway. I thought, whoa. So I'd ceased to be around the house, so I could see what was going on in the gym.
Yeah.
So I got a pal of mine who was with me. He just come in. I literally gone, but he's about 7 foot tall. There's the two big bodybuilders. The one who owed me the money, who said fuck me, and another massive 21 stoner, ripped to shreds both of them. I've got a shank. I like bang. I'm on my own. My mate says I'll come with you. So we've gone down there. Gym's packed. I've said on the leg press, I've gone, hey, want a word with you. So there's two of them, I assume. So we've gone in the office. My big mate, literally 7 foot tall, right, he's gone, and about a 20 stoner, right, big guy, he's gone, I'll sit down here. When I stand up, we watch, he'll shit himself, right. So I've gone in there, I'm having a go at him, and, but I don't want it to go turbo. I just want my money, you know what I mean? And he's fucking nervous. Obviously I've got the knife, I've slammed that down on the table, and he's telling me, all of a sudden, the big fella stands up and goes, enough of this fucking talk, you know, where's the fucking money? So the big boy's like, who the fuck, what the fuck is this? Who the fuck are you? Oh. And right, I thought, it's on now, crack, hit my body shot, left hook, right, I swear to God. The amount of people I've knocked out with his hands, he didn't fucking move it. I thought, straight away, I thought my hands kind of go.
Yeah.
And they weren't that they broke, it was like the tendons in between the knuckles, just something went in both of them. Because it was like hitting a fucking, I'm one about 16-year-old style, whack, whack. I've hit him with these two shots, left, right, left hook, yeah, I remember, right? And I just knew my hands were done, and that's never happened ever. Well, I've got fucking, I could whack a lamppost and make things shake, but it was like whacking a lamppost as hard as you could, whack, whack. And the guy's still there, it's fucking mutant. So, yeah, left, right, left, and I brought the elbow through, crack, crack, crack. And he starts sliding down. Well, he's not even going down the wall fast. He's like sliding down at a slow motion. I'm thinking, I know my hands are done. So I'm thinking, I've got to put this something away. You know what I mean? And then I've literally plowed my knee into his head, just held him in the wall. Even with a band now, so like, fuck it, hitting him in the ribs a bit. I can hear them all going. He's clapped, there's blood squirted all over the fucking wall. And now I'm like fucking amped up. I've gone to get the fucking knife. My big pal's like, what the fuck are you doing, Dad? You know what I mean? And yeah, so fucking, I didn't get my money back actually in that case, but
you didn't get it back.
He tried lying to everyone, said that I fucking slashed him with a knife by hand. It was just, I had a ring on at the time. Yeah, I had a ring on at the time.
And that was a friend of yours?
No, he's the one that bumped me.
Right,
he had been a friend. I put him in a good situation.
Yeah.
He bumped me for some money, and then told everyone, oh, fuck him, I'm not going to pay him back anyway. And he lied to me about what happened to what he had. He said the police had nicked him and all that, and his missus told me the truth. But yeah, fucking, so I've gone out into, the gym's packed. We're in the office. I've turned the music up because I think, I don't want to hear this, right? His big mate, still there on the leg press, he knows what's just happened, just like, fuck, keep my head down. I've walked out, fucking, said to one of the guys behind the counter, I need to get a bucket of water and some fucking marigolds. Fucking there's a right mess in there. Clean them up and don't fucking let them out until you clean them up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he comes in the office and this big guy boy now he's awake again and he's fucking sat there like, and like he's humiliated. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And then like he's coming with a bucket and the marigolds and said, Dan says I've got to clean you up before you go. Come off the fucking ceiling. I could tell you a few stories like that.
So, did you have a partner in the gym?
No, not in the gym.
But something
I had
happened.
a partner later on with something else.
Yeah, and then I believe your gym got set on fire, was it right?
Yeah. By him.
By him, yeah.
My old best mate, yeah.
And is that what then led you to get locked up, or what came from that?
We had like something we were doing. Obviously, we was doing the naughty business, and we're doing quite well. And you know, ended up trying to do me out of a bit of money here or there along the way. Those were going concerns, like a business, and then eventually enough got too much. But there were multiple fallouts along the way, you know. And there was so much violence in that business. There were so many kidnaps that went on routinely that it was almost a daily occurrence.
Really? Kidnap people for what?
Well, say like we had 3 debt collectors and they owed money. You know, generally they would just knock the door. You know, knock the door and have a word. Say, you know, you're not answering the phone, or you're late, or whatever. And that's generally enough for people to pay attention. You've got 3 big lads knock the door. Always have one who can articulate themselves well. That's enough for people to wake the fuck up and think, right, I better get this money in. There are people out there who will go get a bit of work off someone, knowing they're going to bump them, and they'll bump as many people as they can. And then every now and then someone they'll realize, oh, I better not bump this one because he's going to fucking do me. So when you have 3 big lumps knocking the door, or their mum's door, or their dad's door, whatever works, you're going to get your money back one way or the other. There's always that one odd time where it's going to be real difficult, you know. And sometimes violence was applied, I think, when it wasn't needed. Looking back, do you know what I mean?
Was there ever anybody who wanted to fight you at the door when you knock on their door?
I at the start when I was younger, I would go myself. Later on, I'd bring one person. I mean, quite quickly, first years I did it myself. As soon as I got one person coming with me, so you know, if you're going up big blocks of flats and you're going knocking some door, you don't really know what you're going up against. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I started bringing someone with me. That was one of my business partner's ideas. And it didn't take me long to think, well, if I'm sending him, why don't I just get one more, then I ain't got to go. I can just sit in posh restaurants all day. Do you know what I mean? And it kind of evolved from there, and then before you know it, we had 3 of them. I always figured, like, less likely to be drama if there's 3 people knock someone's door, because you don't want drama. Yeah. But, you know, I had an ego. I had a temper. So sometimes you take things personally as well, you know, when in reality it's just a kid fucking up or a man fucking up, and you'd get them, give them a slap, and every now and then I'd go with them, and I'll just, you know, because debt collectors or the kind of people who do that work, they can be problematic in themselves. They've got their egos. They validate themselves on the level of violence they can bring to the game. That's all they can really validate themselves on. Because half of them haven't got a brain. Some do, some don't, but the majority you don't. So, you know, you kind of got to, or I felt I had to remind them the pecking order. Do you get me?
Yeah.
So every now and then I'd go along and I'd show them what madness looked like, or what violence should look like, or could look like. And perhaps that was paranoia, perhaps that was ego, perhaps it was stupidity. Certainly, probably the stupidity of hiring people that couldn't really be trusted anyway, you know. So many people involved in that business will be taking a lot of cocaine themselves, and how much can you rely on someone who's using a lot of cocaine?
Yeah.
You know.
And what was life like at your peak?
I had a mate of mine who worked for me. He sent me a letter, and he put, he was like a bit of muscle debt collector. He used to drive me around, and I gave him like 700 quid a week 12 years ago just to drive me around. Brand new 7 Series Range Rovers. I'd be shagging birds in the back seat with a load of cocaine everywhere, and he'd be driving, you know. You know, fucking, I remember fucking driving past my old solicitor, Dave Lee. Hey, David. And fucking I was getting a blowjob. Fucking driving in a Range Rover. He got the phone. All of a sudden, his name's come up on a loudspeaker. You know, fucking, it's Danny. And his bird's head popped up. Yeah, life was a scream, mate. You know what I mean? If I didn't want to, if I was going somewhere and wanted to have a good night, it's all right, you're driving, you know, don't drink. I want to get wasted and make sure I don't get myself in any trouble.
So,
if you're in that game, say you go to a festival, you're going to bump into fucking, you might bump into 20 other drug dealers or 10 people that owe you money or whatever, and the potential for a massive fight, and some of them might have knives on them or something. So if you go to a festival, you can't ever really let your hair down. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you want to, so like, I'd have the boys with me and say, right, you can't drink, you've got to keep an eye on us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, life was probably it felt like fun. You know, back then, I'm talking about 12 years ago, I could spend £3 a week every week on clothes. You know, I didn't even count the money I was taking out of me. I'll just look at blocks. That looks like enough money to take out of me. Do you know what I mean? And when I was in jail, I would regret nothing more than how much I wasted so much money, and everyone does it.
Yeah.
Not many people really end up doing that well, but even the ones that do, it's the same. Easy come, easy go.
Yeah.
You know.
And what led to that kidnapping case?
That particular kidnapping case that we got caught for.
Yeah, you got a, was it a combined sentence of 43 years or something?
Yeah, so when the gym got set on fire, we knew it was. Obviously, I don't know actually he paid to do it, but we knew he was behind it, and that's all that matters. And I was very much fearful, I think, that next would be the house might go up or something. So I thought, I've got to find this guy now. So I hurried, panicked, because I didn't know where he was, because he'd moved to Birmingham to get away from me. And
so after he set the gym on fire,
no, we'd already kind of gone after him, and he'd moved. He knew he was in trouble with us. There was it's a long story, but he knew he was in a lot of trouble. So there'd been a fallout, and he moved away. And we heard he was in Birmingham. We didn't know where. And he had a girlfriend and a wife. But he lived with his girlfriend. Had a few kids with her, and I remember I didn't know what her name was, you know. But I remember him saying he always he'd always like rent everything in her name. That way no one could ever find out, you know, where he was or all this sort of thing. So I mean, I had a guy who looked up his mum and dad's house and fucking were able to find out who lived there back to when it first was built. But that's no good to me. He's moved up north now, he's moved up Birmingham, so I couldn't find him. So I'm panicking thinking, shit, what happens if this cunt sets fire to my house when me and the kids are in it? You know what I mean? And as a father, you're very much thinking, wow, you know, that protective side of you kicks in. And I've got to go find this guy. And he still had a few clients he'd sell drugs to down there. So he'd also had a guy that he was doing grows for him. So the idea was to get hold of him, get him to tell him that the grows were full of spider mite, you know. That they was going to have to cut the whole crop down, it was all ruined. Now, if you've got like, I don't know, however much money he had tied up in this house, like 100 grams worth of plants it was just about to cut down, he's going to want to see it. You're going to want to see it before he gets cut down, right? In case the guy's full of shit. And that was the idea. We thought once he lures him there, because the guy ain't going to say no, right? Once he lures him there, we can have a load of fun with him. And I was so fucking angry about the fire in the gym. I was so angry with this guy. Probably just as well it happened the way it happened.
And when did you realise it went too far?
Mate, listen, I fucking phoned up some of the runners and said, bring some coke and some fucking Mandy. I'm going to spoon feed this cunt Mandy while I'm fucking torturing him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll be cutting bits off him and I'll be giving him Mandy so he freaks the fuck out.
Is that how you felt?
Oh, this is what I'm talking about. And we were all sniffing, all there fucking tooled up to the nines. You know, hot kettle.
Is this what you guys were doing?
I had kettle, sugar, I had fucking gaffer tape, these big fucking sharp knives. I was going to go to town with this guy. I was so fucking angry. And there was other things that happened along the way. And that had completely twisted my judgment, you know. Yeah, I suppose we thought we could get away with anything. I mean, yeah, so like, probably just as well we didn't find him.
So is that how you were torturing him?
No, so what happened,
yeah,
the guy who was doing the grows for him, he weren't where he was supposed to be, right, where he normally would have been at that time.
right.
Then we knew there was another guy who was still, but we thought, fuck it, we've all, you know, we've all gone out ready. We've dumped our mobile phones somewhere else, which funny enough they figured out in court. Funny how all your phones stop here.
Ah.
You lot are forensically aware, but obviously if we had been, we would have been a bit clever about, you know, even how we did that, because why did your phones all go silent at such and such a time? You know, none of your phones are travelling at this time. And of course, if you take them with you, then they they pinpoint you to the place. When he went there, I thought, right, well, we're here, we're ready, we've done all this. There's another drug dealer he gets bits off. That's right, he gives bits to. We'll go and speak to him. And I literally thought it would be a case of, right, you know, you're going to get this guy to drop down some drugs and we'll take it from there. And then of course he said, well, he won't come, he'll send a runner. I said, well, that's all right, phone him up. He'll bring the runner, we'll soon get the information out of the runner. And I suppose at this point, you know, I could walk into my gym, a proper bodybuilding gym with my little lot, and the gym would go quiet because, you know, we'd probably become not very nice people. And I didn't start off that way. People around Southampton really knew what we were up to, what we were doing, the amount of violence, the amount of kidnaps, the amount of crazy shit. So I think when the guy said no, you know, I'm not giving you his number, I'm not doing that. And obviously because I'm already angry about the gym being set on fire, even though like it got put out almost immediately and was pretty much back in operation the next day, I was so fucking angry. And I think when he said no, I just flipped and I just give him a body shot. Give him that first body shot, dropped him, and all the others come in, and all of a sudden he's got 5 guys with Benny hats and snoods, you know, just the slits of eyes showing, wrapping cord around his neck, putting his hand in the old vice. It was like a paint sprayer, car sprayer. Putting his hand in the vice, strangling him with cord. Someone had the heat gun going next to his head. I put a screwdriver up his nose. I said, get your fucking hands on the table. Get your fucking hands on the table. I'm putting the screwdriver up his nose. But I'm just thinking, I've got a job to do, right? My gym got set on fire. He could be at my house next. You're with him, right? You put yourself in that camp, and that's what happens when you go to war, right? If these soldiers are against you,
yeah,
it is what it is. Do you know what I mean?
So this guy was then working with him?
Yeah, yeah. Might not be fair, might not be nice, but I say, you know, when you align yourself with people in the underworld, or whatever you want to call it, you align yourself, but sometimes you don't realise what you're doing, you know, but you are.
And did you get hold of him?
No, so I said, knocked him about a bit, not too bad, it weren't bad, more like the threat of violence. And he said he didn't have it, he said a mate of his had it. He took us on this wild goose chase to buy himself some time. It was kind of mad that he'd done it. And I don't know how I had this kind of loyalty to this guy, but so we've ended up going to another person's house, and he's gone upstairs, and it says in all like the evidence, like he's phoned the guy, what do I do, what do I do, what do I do? And the guy has actually said, this Ferrari driving drug dealer has gone, supposed to be, thinks he's a bad man, he's telling him to phone the police. Well, I'm not there, I can't help you. Phone the police. Obviously he thinks that'd be perfect for me, get this cunt put away. And he didn't do that, he's come back down. And we think like at this point, look, he's playing ball, no longer a threat, no longer, we don't even really think we're kidnapping him. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, he's told us to, oh, come on, we'll do this, and we'll go up boozing, and he's told us we're going to meet him later, something like that, yeah. And I don't know if he's buying himself more time, but we're going back to the workshop, right, and we're waiting around, and like, I don't know what he was fucking thinking. So we got us back to the workshop. I don't think he wanted to go to the police at this point. I don't know what he was thinking. Because obviously G wasn't going to show up, so I've said, you know, go put the kettle on. And I literally meant, put the kettle on. I want a cup of tea.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course, he knows there's a kettle and sugar in it. He's thinking he's going to get kettled. Yeah. Which I genuinely wanted a cup of tea. Right. He's fucking painful. I've got to get the fuck out of it. We're all lackadaisical thinking, you know, this has been handed on a plate for us. Can we give him £3 at the end of the night, £3 at the end of the night for making this happen, right? So we're all accused, you know what I mean? Not realising the whole lot of it's a charade or bullshit. And I told one of the fat bastards watching him, make sure you watch him, because although it was all cool and powers and all that, but I still realised, keep an eye on him, do you know what I mean? But he wasn't, and he got away. So next thing he's in under a caravan, phoning the police, and from that point on, obviously we was high profile at the time, right high profile. You know, sometimes the police would be parked outside a gym in a white BMW, I go, what boys? And I go, I mean,
Yeah.
so, you know, fucking taking the piss slightly. My wife said, is it NSA? NCA, National Crime phoned her up one, it's NCA, you know, they knew we'd split up and instantly got on the phone to her and say, what can you tell us about your husband's not so legal activities? Or, yeah, another time we had a falling out, they've come round, tried telling me I was the most violent man in Hampshire, blah, 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 you know what I mean? And like, you know, they got a bee in their bonnet. So they knew this is gold. Right, they fucking pulled his family out of the house immediately. Sent police there, sent police to go get him. He's holding on at some caravan somewhere. He actually phoned G first, and G told him, phone the fucking police, on my memory. Because I said, it's a long time ago, I'm going through the evidence. The amount of fucking, probably hundreds of hours I've gone through this evidence 10 years ago when it all counted, when we were going to court, you know what I mean? We were on a remand. They got nothing better to do, but like, yeah, so they've gone and picked up his wife, gone and picked him up, and they moved him out of the house that day. Never to come back to Southampton. Yeah. Moved him out, put him in witness protection. If you read the, what do you call it? When we eventually, because we had 2 trials, but it got to a third, but the third trial didn't happen because we give up. Yeah. Yeah. The judge pretty much said to us, like, you know, before he was, listen, this is getting silly now. You know, I can't remember how he said it, but me reading between the lines is, I'm gonna fuck you lot for wasting fucking my time. We're on a third trial now, so the third trial never happened. And there's all sorts of shenanigans along the way. One of the jury foreman got nicked, trying to fucking lead the rest of the jury into a decision against us. So many jury members, the first trial collapsed because I found it hard to find a jury that didn't know at least who one of us was. And then it turned out one did, and that collapsed. The second trial that happened, if I'm remembering that in the right order, because it's a long time ago. Yeah, so when you read the newspaper bits, when we finally got sentenced, you know, the CPS or the barristers, the judges summing up, they'd moved him, I think, 3 times before the trial. You know what I mean? Fucking like, moved him up north and then moved him 3 times before trial, thinking we were trying to get to him. They massively overestimated my capabilities at this point. You know what I mean? But it sounded good in court, I guess.
Yeah. And what was the arrest like?
I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
It was like a load off. It was like the weight of the world come up, because every day you're like that.
Yeah,
over
you're
your shoulder.
expecting it.
You know what I mean? You wouldn't even know what it was for. There's so many fucking things you're doing daily, so many laws you're breaking on daily, so many, it's all bad karma, isn't it? So it was like a load off. It was like, I remember I had a meeting with a solicitor. Right, I would say, like this, what's the saying? Art imitates life and life imitates art. I think I'd seen The Wire or something. I thought, that's a good idea. He's got a solicitor on the payroll. So for advice, I wound up trying to do the same. And I'd meet, you know, what do we want to do? And he actually tried to talk me out of it. Dan. You know what I mean? And to stop, you know. Yeah. And he told me about a lot of his clients, like, would say when they get nicked, it's like, oh, the weight of the world is off their shoulders. Yeah. Because, like, the game's up in it. You've got nothing else to worry about. And I can relate to that. It wasn't quite true for me, because I still had 5 limited companies. Yeah. Which all now got no one to look over them. And you know that your business is going to collapse one after the other. A lovely girlfriend who's trying her very, very hardest to keep them afloat. Yeah, she can't. Whilst my enemy, who got me put in here, is fucking scaring the daylights out of her. Who later got himself shot in the head. Thank be, praise to Jesus.
And you think that was his own doing? Do you know who killed him?
Yeah, I know who killed him, yeah.
Is that?
He got 35 years.
Oh, so they caught him?
They caught him, yeah.
And why did that guy kill him? Did he fuck him over as well?
He was serving him up, this other guy. I think he owed like well over 100 grand. The guy got robbed, right, for all his work. And it got in his head that he'd set it up. So he'd give him the gear, on tick, and he got robbed. I don't think that happened. I don't think that happened. Because I know he tried blaming someone else and the other person stuck it all over him. You know, I'll fucking come and shoot you now, you cunt. And, oh, it wasn't you then. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll go blame this cunt. And that was probably how he justified what happened later. And he got, I think more or less it was a robbery. You know, they knew he was going to pick up his gear.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of cash on him because the guy had a big mouth. Probably said, I want to go on what day, like a fucking imbecile. And I think it was robbery gone wrong. I don't know. But you wouldn't get 7 people turn up, or 7, 8 people, how many people were. They went down for it, right? Horrendous sentences, started at 35 for the top one, right? You know, even the guys who sourced the guns got crazy sentences, like 15. It's life, right? So we got served a whole lot. And you wouldn't get that many people. Oh, we'll all turn up for this murder. Yeah, right. No, of course not. They'll all turn up for robbery and all of a sudden someone's gone crack. You know what I mean? What did you do? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's true or not, because there's so many different stories. Only the people who are there will know. And apparently he went, come on then, bam. Maybe a quick bit of anger, too much trend. I don't know, maybe too much coke, whatever. Bang, gun went off. And I'm sure that wasn't what they were bargained for. I heard they went away, had a little chat while he's fucking dying, and they've got to finish him off.
Yeah.
Walk back and put another one in. Saved me a job, didn't it?
Yeah. So what went through your mind at sentencing when you hear the judge sentence your...
I started shadowboxing. You know what I mean? You can't let them fucking... Oh mate, you can't let them fucking plod. They've been stood there like... They're like, they can't fucking wait. They think, yes! Gonna get this cup wherever it belongs. Go on, son! Yes! You got to show me how happy you are. Fucking dirty cunts. And the other mate, they were fucking horrified. They were fucking horrified, do you know what I mean? You little newspapers and fuck you lot, sorry. I had 2 Macodies looked like they were crying. One definitely was, and they literally lay down like that and on the like in the fetal position.
Yeah.
You know, I know you got fucking actually 1 grade, it was pretty unfair. I've got 7. Yeah. They give me 9, but yeah, I thought, because I've been told, right, by this dickhead barrister that I had, absolute fucking dickhead, right, who turns out he was friends with the judge. And my fucking, never mind, right, fucking, but we fell out. And we fell out because I said something about yuppies, right, and I was being all polite. I said, you know, about trying to move the trial to London, you know, where cases like this are to a penny, do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I said something about yuppies. And it took massive offence because obviously he's a fucking yuppie. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it turns out he's friends with, so I swear he must have told his judge mate after he fuck him up. So he's not turned up on the last thing of court when he's supposed to. And someone else has come in to oversee it, right? And he said, oh, you're looking at serious time here. And it's done, what are you on about, mate? He's on about 6 years. We've been talking about 6 years. The whole 18 months I've been on remand. You can't, what are you on about? Looking at 15, 16 years. You fucking mad, right? So when I got 9, I was like, yes! You know what I mean? Oh, you cunts. You know what I mean?
So what was prison really like? How did you survive prison?
Prison was interesting, right? I was very lucky, very fortunate, I think, to go there because I was literally going to kill someone or get killed, 100%. You know, I was fucking, you know, I was definitely going into psychosis. There were so many people owed me money. All that violence I'd done as a kid, right, which was a ridiculous amount by anyone in our area, like off the fucking Richter scale. You know, fucking walking into clubs with fucking swords and fucking bats and all sorts of crazy shit. I thought the answer to everything was just fucking force. You know what I mean? Fucking, like I said, if you ask me how many people I kidnapped, to the nearest 20, I haven't got a Scooby-Doo. I have not got I wouldn't even thought of it. A kidnap was like, bang, get in the fucking car. Yeah, that's a kidnap. But I never even thought about it. I was get in the fucking car, you fucking like, you know, you're doing it so often that it becomes complacency. You're just like, this is how you roll. Like, you know, like, you walk in any club, you get straight through to the front, all the doormen. I've took a load of lads after a boxing show with the front 20 seats. I took him to I can't remember what the fucking club was called now. No, I can't remember what club was called now. But fucking like, you know, there's people with swords, like, you know. And I'm telling, what are you doing? You don't search more guys to the fucking door. You don't search more fucking guys. I don't think so. They're coming in proper tooled up, you know. Did you think you can get away with murder? Like, some girls do a bit of sniff in the fucking toilet. I must have liked the look of her. She's back at the front. What are you fucking doing? He's got a bit of chopsy. And the doorman of started going in on one, and then the guy he works with runs all the doors. Hello Marcel, how are you mate? Right. He's fucking older than me, no, like fucking, you're gonna have to, I'm going fucking loopy, you won't have to apologise to him because he's gonna fucking go off on one. It's called delusions of grandeur. You know, you're in a little bubble world which is bullshit, which is gonna burst through later, and you just think you can do it. You've got people running around with straps for you know, fucking sticking them in people's heads. You think you can get away with anything. You know, you literally lose reality. And, you know, you're used to it. From a young age, I've grown up in London, seeing my old man take me up the estates who wants to fight my boy, seeing throwing people off fucking scaffolding and pulling people out car windows, you know, raging all the time. It's just normal, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, so that's just how you handle shit. And you try to gauge who you think will phone the old bill. Well, they're in the game as well. You're all fucking in the game, so you all know the rules. So you can't think, well, it's part of the game. You've been naughty, you're going to get a good slap. You know, of course it's not. They're going to go the old bill, and like people are now. But you know, you're kind of going, I don't think he will. If I think he will, I'll send someone else. Do you know what I mean? And or you'd have something over him, like you'd know when their mum and dad live or something, enough that they wouldn't want to. Do you know what I mean?
And do you think the steroids made back in the day even worse? Like,
I remember my old partner, we were sat across the restaurant. I'm talking about fucking killing everyone. Like literally fucking, we do him, then we'll take over their territory. And he's like, Dan, I'm with you, brother, but whatever you want to do, but listen, you're sounding psychotic, and you should come off this fucking trembolone. I'm like, so yeah, I would say steroids and.
Yeah.
Definitely added to the arsehole crazy effect.
So who stood by you and who didn't in prison?
Ooh, good story. Well, one of my good pals, he knows years, he 10 grand straight me hand when I come out, which won to be the week's wages before I went to jail on a bad week, but like, yeah, straight away when I come out. I had another mate of mine, can't say his name. He's from Millbrook, he's got a bald head, straight away. Good mate of mine. He's fucking took me out for fucking a nice bit of dinner. Do you need any money to get yourself back on your feet? No. And I did. You know, again, not many people did that. Because you're on your arse. I don't give a fuck who you are, mate. I had all my businesses collapse. You know, fucking, I wasn't no good at saving money before I went in. Fucking, I must have spunked £500,000 a year in cash.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? I'll come out with fucking all my business is gone. You know, and you got to rebuild. So when someone does that, it means the fucking world. There's a few people that did. My other mate, I was a nice little bar in Shirley, come up to me, down, do you need money? You know what I mean? And I must have had someone take me out for lunch or dinner every day for 3 months when I come out. And I was thinking all paranoid, I'll have loads of enemies and I'll be on licence and everyone's want to do me because I'm vulnerable. But it was the total opposite. Everyone wanted to be friends, and there were a few people probably who got quite busy when I've been gone and were worried I was interested in what's he going to do when he comes out. Is he going to try and stamp his authority all over him and jump back in? But no, the truth is, and when I first went to jail, I was definitely thinking that way. Do you know what I mean? I was just collecting phone numbers in there. Anyone I thought who would work for me or do a bit of violence for me, But by the end, I think I'd done so much in the way of educating myself. You know, I was reading all the classics. I'd done 30 courses in there, and genuinely, you know, reading all these nice books, I'm like, you know, reading fucking, I don't know, they're just nice books. You know, I'm reading about nice things. I'm thinking, I've never been around anything nice, really. Do you know what I mean? Everything's been brutal. So now I'm reading about the birds and the bees and the fucking trees and fucking the meadows and Jane Austen books. And I'm thinking, you know, they say you become the average of the 5 people you hang around with the most and all that. And that's fucking true. Yeah. You know, I've had some wonderful girlfriends. I've been pretty good at my choices of girlfriends. And, you take something good from each of them. Be surprised, like, this one you'll have a good habit you'll take from this one. But again, if you've got girlfriends or friends with shit habits, you might take some of that.
Yeah.
Whatever that may be. It might be like, you got someone, if you're living with somebody who gets up at fucking 5 o'clock on the dot every morning and they're in the gym, you're probably going to do the same. If you're someone that eats fucking pizza all day and KFC every fucking night and watches fucking EastEnders, that's what you'll be doing with them. Do you know what I mean? And like,
it rubs off eventually.
listen, when you make books your companions in a jail cell, that's your influences. So when you're reading Dickens and Jane Austen and Thomas Hardy and fucking E.B. Forster and Graham Greene, you're not, and I'm writing fucking copious amount of notes. So those are my best companions. I was very much, I must come out of 250 phone numbers. I've come out of friends, such good friends from jail. So many of you guys are fucking among my best friends, but they'll all know I spent a lot of time just fucking in my cell. Reading, I'll never miss a gym session, very disciplined, but reading, and like, I wanted to improve myself. And I went to church. I've always been religious, but I started really reading it. And I think at some point, with all the education and all the good reading, I've become very confused about my own identity, in that all the violence I'd ever done suddenly felt fucking abhorrent. Why did I do all that? Why did I behave like that? Why? And even being around more sensible criminals, like, there ain't many in jail, especially not in the B cats and the C cats. But you get the ones who stand out, the top boys, and they don't do a lot of violence unless they fucking need to. Right, they really don't. You get some who don't have a bit of violence in their life, more or less, and they're just networkers. So why did I feel the need to do all that violence? And
so it made you think.
I do understand. Like, looking back, the way I was brought up, it was like, are you a man or a mouse, and that's how you front things. And reading those silly books about Lenny McLean and Roy Shaw, you're not the brightest. So I felt like it was all very abhorrent, very disgusting, and like, I don't really like violence. Like, I never fucking, I suppose I like the validation of it. Everyone been up your arse, but probably for the wrong reason. What you could get out of it, or some people are treating you differently, and you ain't got a queue, and you get this, that, and that. But I never enjoyed violence for violence sake. I never went over the top for violence sake. I would probably go over the top to stamp a message. It would be a decision, right? I'm going to do this for this result. Well, if it's, I want to be feared, I want to get what I want out of this situation. And there's always a lot of paranoia. But it was never because I enjoyed inflicting pain on people or hurting people. There's none of that. I tell you, there's none of that in me. Do you know what I mean? That doesn't mean I can't go well past turbo, right? But it will be like, me thinking, this is what needs to be done. Knowing what I know now, all the books now, I wouldn't have been nowhere near as violent. There was no need for it. No need for it at all. But,
and what do you regret most?
Whilst I was too violent most of the time, there were one or two times I wasn't violent enough, because sometimes in that game you need to take action, and not taking action can cause much bigger problems down the line. So it's knowing when to be bold, and it's knowing when to be cautious. It's knowing when to be merciful and when to be the fucking opposite. It's having that insight.
And do you
say, like, I've read all these books, from Machiavelli to fucking all the Robert Greene books and all the other books, and there's a level of knowledge up here now, right? And so much I read on leadership. I ended up doing a degree at Westminster University, right? And all the books, nothing compared to what I got out of the books I read. Nothing. Nothing. Not even those books. Every book I read would have had some tinge of leadership knowledge in it. Be it a Dickens book or a Robert Greene book or a Machiavelli book or The Art of War. There's something in there, right? And if you know people's character as well, it helps you come to the right decision on what course of action to take, right? And I was just a very fucking bold, aggressive, violent, capable kid who didn't have that leadership knowledge to be doing what I was doing, or make more informed decisions. I don't know how I did what I did. Obviously, I have a good character in that, like, I'm very loyal, I'm very generous, and I was lucky in some of the people I got around me who kept it very tight, you know, put systems in place that stopped us going to jail for other things. And so that was luck, but maybe that was, I'm still friends with them people now, do you know what I mean? And I have my skill set, and I had people around me, which I got around me, who had the skill sets I didn't have to make the team. If that makes sense. Yeah. So yeah.
Do you think you deserved your sentence?
Yeah, not for what I did, but for what I was doing. Absolutely, I've got no trouble with that, and I'm glad I went down when I did, because if I hadn't, I'd have killed someone, or I'd have got killed, or I'd have got a much longer sentence. And I used that time to better myself. I've got children, you know, I find it fucking hard to believe that I got to that stage in life with no education. It's embarrassing, really, and I think it's a shame, you know what I mean? Because there's so much you've got to pass on to your kids. And if you don't have that knowledge, you don't have that knowledge, it's not your fault. Sometimes it's just luck of the draw, what people you get around. But it's also, you know, say you come across a wise man and you come across an idiot and you choose to spend all that time with an idiot, that's your choice, right? If you choose to be around, this guy's clever, I can learn a thing or two from him, I'll choose, there are plenty of people around jail that I thought, I'll spend a bit of time with you, I can learn a thing from you. And I did that. I avoided all the gangbangers, all the idiots, all the airheads, all the noisy cunts, all the guys getting wrecked in their cells, you know, and you get your 1% of sensible people who are reading books, doing their burpees, just doing it right. And I made, these are the people I want to be around, people I can learn from. You know what I mean?
And what would you say today to that victim, if you could speak to him?
Well, I'm not going to lie to you.
Be honest.
Well, let me start and say this, right? I've made a decision, right? If I've done a lot of wrong in my life, yeah, by the time I get to the pearly gates, I want to have done more good than I've done bad. The more people I can help off of drugs, addiction, mental health problems, I want to spend the rest of my life doing a lot of that, right? You know, I'm a patriot, I don't like to see the way this fucking country's going, I want to do a lot of that. So I want to balance the scales. Whatever bad I did, then I want to do so much, it's like that. So much good, right? But that doesn't mean I'm like massively ashamed of what I went through to get here, right? That guy was in the game, right? He made a choice, right? I'd done my 9 years in prison and he got put in witness protection. He made his choice, right? The guy who later got shot in the head was a piece of shit, and you know, was the kind of guy getting people robbed, not just selling drugs, but fucking robbing people. You know, I've heard, you know, as a Sikh guy, Sikhs are known to keep it like gold runners. Some people in robbed the house when they're at weddings and shit. You know, not when I was around, but afterwards it all come out. You know, I could say things he's done with women, but I'm not going to go into that. You know, fucking. This guy, he aligned himself with him. You know, I don't feel too sorry for him. I mean, the things that come out in court, fucking buying drugs instead of buying his kids' birthday and Christmas presents. I was kept, my house was lovely. My wife had a cleaner coming 3 times a week. She had Range Rovers and fucking Porsches and shit. You know, I kept being a man. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying I was perfect, because I wasn't. But I provided for my family. My wife didn't have to work. You know, my child, I must have put 2,000 hours in at least to teach my son how to box. I've tried to bring to books, the classics and stuff, you know. Me and my wife don't get on, that made it difficult. I've always done what I thought was the right thing to do. I said, knowing what I know now, I never would have got involved in all that. You know, but at the time, when you're a kid, it seems like an option, you know.
And what's the biggest myth about gangsters?
Well, most gangsters ain't gangsters, right? And I had a mate of mine, had a full rack of gold teeth, and a Mars bar through his face, his nose bit off, ear bit off. Quite an hard cunt. Mixed race lad from Brixton used to drive around his car, he'd say, Dan, fucking crazy, like, gangsters now wear chinos, you know, like, they just want to be friends with everyone, you know, you're a dinosaur, you scare the life out of them, fucking like, just be nice, you know what I mean? So like, they'll get into this thing, start selling drugs, but you're in the pool now, you're in the pool and there's sharks in the water, and you're not a shark. Don't be in the water if you're not a shark, because you'll get eaten. Do you know what I mean? You're putting yourself at danger, right? Because as soon as people know you sell drugs, right, you might have people come to rob you at your house with children, right, and kids, right? They don't realise how vulnerable they are, and that, at any level, you know. I've had top special forces people, I would say, what, come have meetings with me because they wanted to start robbing drug dealers. Everyone wants to start robbing drug dealers. So you think you're a big man because you're moving 100 kilos, and some special forces cunt wants to fucking cut your fingers off to find out where that is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he was happy to fucking, and there's loads of it, right? So whether you're at the bottom, if you're a guy who's got two in a queue, you'll have some fucking cracker kick your door and kick your head to pieces in front of your kids for that two in a queue. If you've got 100 kilos sat somewhere, you'll have someone stick an iron in your chest and melt through it, and he'll kill you because he knows whoever's you work for, you don't want them finding out, right? So whether you're down here or up there, you're hunted.
Yeah.
You are prey, right? Yeah, you are prey, right? And people are so fucking hungry because people can't jump in the game no more. Like English people, you've got so many foreigners at it now. Like, you know, like how many ticket lines are there in any given fucking town? Hundreds probably, right? All foreigners. So the English lads that used to knock up, they can't compete no more. So a lot of these lads in these rough areas are fucking hungry and they're angry. So, you know, whoever you are, wherever you're from, whatever your demographic, whatever national, you're prey in that game. You're prey to the police, and you're prey for everyone who used to work doing a bit of game. Now, it's just easy to rob you cunts. You know what I mean? And some people will kick your head to pieces for it, and some people will kill you. So that's the truth. You're just putting yourself on the chopping block, aren't you? Yeah. And the other thing is the kind of money that's involved, right? It's fucking hard out there now. All the top boys who were about before went to jail, most of them ain't top boys now. Most of them have fucking got habits, you know, got their own coke habits and they not doing too well because whatever they used to serve up all their mates, but now their mates got a little ticket line off some foreigner or whatever, they can get their drugs elsewhere, so they're not making no money. So, but they're still doing little bits and pieces, and they're going to get the same sort of sentences. You know, you've only got to do a tiny little bit of coke to be getting 5-year sentences. You know, I've met one guy in jail, put himself a 35-year sentence for cocaine. Do you know what I mean? So whatever happens, there's not small sentences out there. A lot of people don't realise, you know, it all becomes complacent. Well, just little bits to my friends, you know, but they can say, well, you've been doing it for a year because we watched this and that, and then it becomes a case. Or you can be doing a little bit, and they say, well, you know what, we've nicked 20 people, you're just in this chain, now you're on a conspiracy, but I was just getting it off one person and doing it for myself. No, you're on a conspiracy with these other people, so that's going to double your sentence, right? And for a lot of people who haven't been to jail, will know how hard jail is. I see so many people. I was number one in Winchester on my wing work, so see people coming, big lads, happy lads, right? Sounds. 2 months later, they've lost a ton of weight because they're getting fucking tiny meals, and their mental health is gone because they've done so much bang up, 23 and a quarter hour bang up in a day. They're going fucking do lally. 2 months later, they look fucking like they must have been tramps when they come, but they looked alright when they come in. They had all their fucking Stone Island gear, they looked the bollocks, so they're a bit of meeting them. Now they've got no meeting them, and they're fucking sound scatty and anxious, you know, because they've been in their cell with their own thoughts for too long. You know, not to say nothing about the violence in jail, you know, or some mad cunt going, Ali Akbar, screaming it all through the fucking night, you know, when you want to sleep, or fucking some madman they put on the wing, fucking kicking the door fucking night, you know, when all you want to do is sleep, you know. So there's the reality of jail, there's the fact you're probably not going to make much money. You'd make more money in a fucking, you know, if you went and got yourself a trade nowadays, right? And unless you're very, very, very good at it and you've got like the right contacts and the fact that you're a prey. There's more people that want to rob people and will hurt people for what you got than ever before.
And what's one thing you never spoken about publicly?
I've got 1,000 bits of violence I could talk about, but no point going on about that. All done now.
Well, you can tell us about this tattoo we did for you.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I've got a few. I've got that one, got these, all little Roman proverbs. That one means, amor fati means love your fate. So whatever happened in your life leading up to this point, you know, don't just like accept it, embrace it, you know. Love your fate, yeah, yeah. And it's not like in a negative way, it's like, you know, what did Marcus Aurelius once said, what is it, whatever blocks the way becomes the way. So embrace everything up to this point, you know, love your fate and make it work for you. You know, it's not supposed to be, it could sound negative, but it's not. That one there, the English translation is temperance, you know. Don't be a slave to your vices, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I have been, you know. I was teetotal from 18 to about 32. When I come out 33, 18 to 33 I think. When I come out of jail, just before I went to jail I started drinking, using coke, that led to some bad decisions. When I come out, that all kind of slowly started up again. Couldn't get enough women, could not get enough women, could not get enough fucking coke, sex, you know, and madness. And it just escalated, where crazier and crazier and crazier. And guess what? You're not being the person you want to be. All that sacrifice and discipline in jail, what was that for? What did I bother reading all them books for and going to university? If I've got all these ambitions and goals and all of a sudden I'm letting my desires fuck that up for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then this one, again, that one means he who conquers himself wins, basically. You know, conquer thyself first. Right, and it's the same sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? That one's temperance, you know, because we're our own biggest enemies most of the time. You know, if ever I've fucked up, it's been on me. You know, whatever that may be. And a lot of the time it's, well, for most people, drinking and partying in that game, drinking, partying, rather than applying yourself every day to, say I've got a goal. Say I might have one big goal and 20 goals which will help get me to that goal. That's a whole lot of action plans, isn't it? Every day, you know, I should be scheduling my day, 2-hour blocks. Well, for this 2 hours, I'm going to do this 2 hours, I'm going to do that. All working towards my businesses, running my boxing shows, you know, and when you operate like that, you know, constantly doing productive things, everything in life just starts to come together. And then more opportunities present themselves. But if you're fucking about on a come down, if you're feeling fucking ill and tired because you've been drinking all weekend or sniffing coke, then like, you're going to be playing catch up instead of fucking, you know, marching forward with life, achieving things. You're having to catch up on the things you should have done a few days ago. You're probably like, your probably house is a mess, your finances are a mess, you know, people you've let down that you're falling off. Go to the gym. You know, that might be a goal. You know, I like to be in good nick. I'm not happy in the nick I'm in at the moment. Normally, you know, 6-packed up, another stone heavier. If you're partying all that, it's very hard to do weights when you're recovering from a come down or a fucking heavy hangover all the time. So, yeah, you've got to conquer yourself, got to conquer your vices. Even watching shit TV. I could be watching shit TV and getting stupid, or I could be reading books. Yeah. You know.
And then finally, what do you want your legacy to be?
Well, it's changed over the years, you know. I had a son who was very good at boxing, you know, but I don't know if he's I thought he could be a multi-weight world champion. I think he could, but he's his own man, and I don't think he's going to go down that road now. He might do, he might not, but I think along the way, obviously, I'm running my boxing shows, so my boxing with my to increase in that and other things. I want to get my book out, and there's a lot of opportunities. I've been, you know, Terry Stone was on about making a movie about my life and everything, a few other people. But I think, as far as legacy, I'd like to be a person who used his influence for good. So I think, having gone through addiction, which I did coming out of the jail for the first time, I said it crept up to the point it was a real problem, you know, and The only thing that scares me, right, is losing my mind, not being in control of my emotions or my mind, and I've been there. I've been there because of cocaine, and I've been to CA meetings where they talk about cocaine addiction and this and that, and realise the amount of people I let down. I realise looking back the amount of times I lost control of my emotions because I was on a come down, and snapped at people that I shouldn't have done, fell out at people, and the pain when you're really that depressed and angry and upset and bitter, and so that terrifies me. So having been there through addiction, and because I post stuff about it, there's so many people every day in my inbox that I can barely keep up who are asking for help, and I think I have a lot of the answers. I think a lot of us do. I think if you've got through it, then it's nice to help the people on the other side of it battling the way through. Whether it be mental health or addiction, I'd like to really go more and more into that, and being someone who help people and however I can and influence good things. I think connection is very important. I think when we start going down the road of addiction, we can hide it from people for a long time by regressing into our own company, and no one knows that you're fucking up or you're depressed or you're in a bad way. Your friends might know, like, where's he gone? But we've all got our lives to counter, but you've got to stay connected with people, because that's when things start really going bad. You think, if I pull back a bit from society, I can heal. That's not what happens. We heal around others. We level ourselves out in our behaviours based on what we see on other people.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like a good friend will say, Dan, that's not good. You need to, you know what I mean? Or that wasn't good behaviour. So, yeah, I think that's important, being around people, being around good people. Fitness is so important. It's the #1 thing for mental health. And, for me, I know I have to be in a gym, almost every day. It really levels me out. And I do that every good day. And there's so many other things you can do, from journaling, in an ideal world, right, the amount of people, I say suicide is the #1 killer of men in their 40s, right? We also know that cocaine deaths are up 10 times what they were from 2011 to 2022, 23, a 10 or 11 year period. The cocaine deaths went up by 10 times, right? And suicide deaths are the highest killer of men in their 40s in the UK, right? Well, how many of them suicides are down to cocaine use?
Yeah.
I mean, you were talking about this earlier.
Yes, and the come down and depression and all that.
Absolutely, because say you're having a bad time, you're struggling with life. Being on a come down is going to make that 10 times worse. It's like taking the fucking brakes off your depression.
And alcohol.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the two are very linked, but no one talks about it enough.
Yeah.
Ricky Hatton died.
And it's illegal alcohol,
Yeah, look at how Ricky Hatton died. We all know he was taking a lot of cocaine. And when you have that kind of money, you ain't got to stop. You can go on for days. I wonder how many friends he had around him who said, stop, or here's the line.
Yeah.
Were they being good friends? He's very public about his depression. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think these sort of things need to be talked about, because I think a lot of the suicides and the severe depression and people going downhill, people ending up homeless, a lot of that is to do with the amount of cocaine people are taking in society. If cocaine deaths are up by 10 times, right, what they were before, that's not just more people are doing it, that's probably the strength, but the strength of it is much higher. They're putting mixes in that they shouldn't be.
And the fentanyl's coming in now as well. Fentanyl. In Frankfurt, there's a lot of that already.
Who the fuck would put fentanyl in their mix?
Yeah.
What kind of cunt does that, right? Because I tell you, my best friend's, his cousin died the other day, fentanyl overdose.
Now, if he
knew he was sniffing up fentanyl, he wouldn't have sniffed it. No way.
Was that in UK?
Yeah.
So see, that used to be in America, main thing, but now it's made its way here.
It's a mixing agent for heroin, right?
Yeah.
And now there are people mixing it in cocaine.
Yeah, and it takes like a crumb to kill you,
That's right. So they think, just nice kids out having a good time, but they don't know. You don't know what you're sniffing up nowadays. You don't, and a lot of very unscrupulous people out there. But even magic, you know, magic is a name, a collective name for a lot of different chemical substitutes of cocaine they'll mix it, but a lot of them can kill you. A lot of them act like opium, so you can have the cocaine send your heart rate up, and then the other one send your heart rate down. Bad things can happen if the wrong batch. A lot of people just out having a good night, lovely people, and they've just sniffed up the wrong line, and bang, and they're gone.
That's it.
Gone for their family, and
even one pull can kill you, you know?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
so yeah.
Sober life's better.
It's a very different world from what it was when I was...
Oh yeah, the
10,
drugs
12
ain't
years
that
ago.
clean anymore, if you want to call it that.
No, back in the day, look, most were sniffing a bit of pub grub. You know, it's a little bit of pure cocaine, and most of it was benzocaine, which was, you know, like a numbing agent for dentists. Pretty harmless. You know, it wasn't great to be taken. You could have a heart attack on that, don't you worry, but very unlikely because, you know, the purity of it was like something like fucking 15%, 12% sometimes. Now it's average purity 60% and mixed with fentanyl and stuff like that, not benzocaine. So that's why cocaine deaths are so fucking high. And obviously more people are doing it, it's more socially acceptable.
Yeah.
But I think standing back now, because I've been through addiction and I've seen how painful it is, and I wasn't that bad compared to, but I still felt so fucking low, I didn't want to speak to no one for a year. Still show up at the gym, the amount of people I fell out with, like, oh, cranking this, and this is me hiding it. You know, the embarrassment, the shame. So yeah, I feel very much like when people, I don't know, I'm having ice baths, or I'm doing some training, or I'm talking about something positive, and they said, look, and people ask for help, it makes you feel good. You think, you know, you want to be doing that, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I said, if I can get to the pearly gates and have more good on them skills and bad, I'll be happy.
That's it. Yeah, man. Well, Danny, well done on being sober, and you know, you've lived a hell of a life, and you know, you've been through a lot of bad things, but also doing a lot of good. And I don't think anyone is just bad or just good, you know, we've got a bit of that in all of us. So.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But it's, you know, all going better forward, you know.
Absolutely, yeah.
And thanks for coming, it was a real pleasure to have you here.
Most of the best people I know are fucking done a lot of jail. A lot of jail, and a lot of them come out the other side really wanting to help people for whatever reason, because they've been through the depths of despair, and they come out and they get on the weights or whatever, and people think, oh, I can help people there.
Yeah, like you change other people's lives now, because you've been there, and you know what bad comes with that, you know, with addiction and drugs and violence, and so you can try and help people, put them on the right path.
Yeah, I can think a lot of people. Well, not that many, but I can think of a few people in that lane, and they're very genuine. A lot of them are Christians, you know, and I think it's an important lane. I think it's more needed because if you've got kids who are either in prison, coming out of prison, or going to prison potentially, they're not going to listen to some squeaky clean middle class guy. But if someone's been there and done it, got the scars, then they're more likely to think, you know, like, I'll listen to you.
Yes, 100%. It was a pleasure, mate.
God bless you.
And yeah, awesome, great to meet you.
Beautiful, brother. See some more tattoos next time.
Yeah.
Sweet, bro.
Nice one, nice.